Top left-hand side. Picking up his first win already is the blue Zerg. In the top left-hand side, this is Reynor to start us off in a fresh best of 3. In the bottom right-hand side, our red Terran player is Time. I always love Time's clan tag on North America. 9999MS. Amazing. I love it as we go into game number 1 here, as we see the Overlord heading out and getting ready to go. Yeah, what do you reckon for Time versus Reynor? Time has been a big bio player, has had some amazing TVZ bio styles, but Reynor recently in ZvT has just been a different beast. Like, he just makes everybody look bad. Like, even when he was playing Hero Marine in the DreamHack SCG Master the other day, Hero Marine was looking like he was all over him in one of the games, and then Reynor was just like, boom, I see a chance, I see an opportunity, and 2 seconds later, Hero Marine's just falling apart everywhere. And that's what's so terrifying about playing bio against Reynor. As you see, Reaper just setting up in the main base from Time, and SCV will go across to that upper left side, so Time will go for the scout to see what's going on. Hatchery about to finish up on the natural, and again, a couple of Overlords on the map from Reynor. He's been very cautious about proxy racks, so really making sure he's not being proxied at all in the early stages of the game. As this SCV will move up through the natural expansion into the main base in just a few moments, perhaps. Nope. He's happy just to see the timing of the natural, and he will then send the SCV to block the third base location, with the Reaper coming across the map to see what it can get up to in the next few moments. Looking to see if it can really cause much disruption on Reynor's side. As Reynor obviously building up the gas to get a Link speed started. It is going to be double gas from Time, so no 3cc to begin the game. Playing much more of a, going to be focused on some harassment early, rather than just pure good old economy. This is played on NA West, guys. Especially the Chinese players with VPNs, etc. have some issues connecting to NA and so on, so West Coast against Europe seems to be the fairest there. I'm not sure if they play West Central West, or if they just play purely West. But that is worth keeping in mind. Generally, West is not great for Europeans, but Reynor in Italy, it's not as bad. West Coast is much worse if you're, like, kind of Eastern European. So Italy isn't so bad for connecting to West Coast. I think, I'm UK, so it's a bit different, but I have, like, 140 to 150 West Coast, which isn't bad. I think Reynor would probably have like 160, 170. And Time's probably around like 160, 170 as well. So it's pretty fair pings. But you could probably argue that there's way to play... there's a way to play around latency and ping from both sides, right? As a Zerg player, you can play Ling Bane style. You don't have to play mutas. Pure Ling Bane is quite simply the A-move style. But it kind of is. You overwhelm a lot. You have to make some splits and stuff. But it is much less micro than if you're trying to play Ling Bane muta, for example. And similarly, Terran doesn't have to play bio. They could play mech, right? And that's obviously much less micro than if you're trying to play bio in TVZ. So there are styles which are stronger if you're playing with latency and you're not comfortable, but I don't think the latency is so bad that these guys necessarily have to play massively around that. I suppose we shall see as the Viking pops out, and again, a couple of Hellions and a Reaper will be able to go over to the side, and the Viking just continuing out across through the center. Fusion core building from Time in the main base, and that's going to be continuing in as well. So fusion core to be finished shortly as a couple of extra SCVs continuing out, and again, Hellions, a Reaper, all coming across the map as this Viking is going to continue picking away at this Overlord. So Overlord taking some extra shots here, and just going to see another grenade to pop the Queen off to the side. And again, Queen's just continuing to come up to the top side. Again, a few Hellions down the right-hand side. Viking of Time going to go around to the left, and just going to be seeing Time again back down in the center as the fusion core sets up from Time as well. So getting that up and running. We do have a Viking picking away at the Overlord here. And these Hellions back through the center. There's a battle cruiser on the way. So like I said, maybe we see some mech in this series. Or just some kind of weird stuff in general. Second starport's finished up. So we're going to be seeing our double starport play. Double battle cruise. If Reynor doesn't realize this and he's not playing into Aspire, he could absolutely fall into trouble. Now, it looks like he will go Aspire here as he gets to 200 gas. And seems to make sense. That is pretty much an essential to deal with this. If you don't get that Spire, you are walking into trouble. So Reynor needs to be on point. He needs to make sure he remembers to get that, else he might be in some trouble. Let's get pushed away. Oh, he's not going to go Spy. He goes Bane Speed and double Evo. In a way, this might be taking advantage of the fact that Reynor might be trying to play kind of pure Ling Bane. This is really bad for Reynor. The fact he's going to have multiple BCs showing up. There's also a Viking just out here already killing off Overlords as well. So Reynor falling apart in that regard too. Definitely not looking pretty. As these Queens continue to set up. A Spore Crawler gets a Viking in the top left. And again, the Queens continue to build. But the Hellions up this left-hand side, getting some Troop Tumors as well. And what's most interesting, perhaps, is that Time has been very, very patient with the BC. Waited for both of them, so now two show up at once, and oh my goodness, those first two Queens are super low HP. He is building an extra Spore in the main base, but he loses one already, or one Queen already. Now these two Queens go down, the other Queens aren't close enough to transfuse, so that's 4 Queens dead without a transfusion dropped. Yeah, double Spore Crawler, but the problem is double BC is just so powerful. Instantly, Reynor goes across the map, and he's just going to try and Ling Bane bust his way to victory. Problem is with that, there's going to be new BCs spawning all the time here. Can he bust through this? I mean, yes, he probably can. Is it going to be enough to matter? BCs, obviously, these ones are kind of stuck across the map. He's going to continue to add on extra Spore Crawlers. Yamato's going to be done, so there's going to be a pretty big, pretty substantial kind of way to kind of do more. As these Banes are going to have to rebust the wall. Hellions might run well so far. I don't think this is anywhere near enough damage yet for Reynor, but of course not done yet. There are more Lings still streaming in. Here comes a BC to help clean up. 20 SCVs have been killed. I just still don't see what the long-term answer for battle cruisers is from Reynor's point of view. I mean, is it still just a hope that these BCs don't break him down? There's going to be 4 BCs. Finally, Aspire starts in the mineral line on the natural. Trying to hide it as a Spore Crawler, maybe. I don't know. But 4 battle cruisers. The only good thing is arguably the threat of these Lings could maybe keep some BCs at home instead of letting them all fly across the map. That is one benefit. Again, Yamato is available, so you're going to be losing Queens instantly. Of course, Reynor did buy himself time to set up for this, and he will have plenty of Queens set up. But is it enough? One of those BCs didn't go down even. It did go down, so the BC died. Spores are coming to the front. Can Reynor clean out the BCs? There's a few of them left. The Queen count is dying. But there's Lings across the map once again. Bane's coming up so he can bust into the main. But 2 more BCs already in production. Oh man, what a weird game this is becoming as Spore Crawlers continue to burrow up. The Spire is so close to finishing. But if, Time realized that he could kill the Spire off, can he kill the Spire in time? Oh, it's taking a lot of damage. It's taking a lot of damage. 5 seconds to finish. The Spire is going to be denied. It's a huge kill from Time. At the same time, he's losing every single SCV he owns on the map. But there's just too many battle cruisers, right? Reynor's going to try and build a Spire elsewhere to the side of his third base this time. If he can get a Spire, if he can get to Corruptors, it's a very different scenario. He is going to kill a starport in the main base, and that is huge. Any denial of a battle cruiser at the moment is really, really valuable. These Lings don't have any other use, right? They've already kind of put themselves to max use here at this stage. And Reynor needs to keep drones alive. He needs minerals. If he doesn't have minerals, he's not going to be able to do this. How many BCs have died now? He actually lost 3 BCs. The Yamato goes down. I think that's a dead BC. Another BC dead. How many are left? Just the one. Reynor's going to take it in a crazy scenario. GG from Time. Reynor leads 1-0. Pressed the wrong buttons. Apologies. Don't mean to be making random sounds. In the bottom left-hand side, let's start this off with the Blue Zerg player who does now lead 1-0. It is Reynor. Top right, our red Terran player. Let's hear it if you're cheering on. Good old Time. Into Everdream for map number 2, and Time trying to pull out something a little bit funky, a little bit different. As the Overlord moves up through to the top side of the map. Hatchery building on the natural. You will see the racks setting up in the main. So racks into the main base. SCVs continue to build. Gas off to the side. And waiting to see what exactly time does to bring us to a game 3, perhaps. Can he do it? I believe in time. Again, I'm not sure how great he feels about playing on an A and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I like him doing something different for that first game. We'll see what he brings out in game 2. With the idea of he was definitely trying to play mech in that first game, of course. So do we get into a similar position this time around? So Overlord just going to be moving across. We do have this command center from Time coming through again. No surprises just yet. Have Time and Reynor played many official matches? I imagine they've met each other in an event here or there, but they're not the kind of players to end up in the same tournaments as each other when it comes to a lot of the when it comes to some of the other stuff. Yeah, they played in WCS Montreal 2018, so it's actually their first official match since 2018. They've actually only played in Nation Wars before then. So, yeah, they've actually only officially... I mean, Nation Wars is, in essence, kind of a best of 3. Both times they played, apparently went to... Reynor kind of beat Time twice, and then Time beat Reynor once or something. But, so it's kind of like a best of 3, but... Yeah, they only officially played each other in one best of 3 plus series, which was in Montreal. Damn. As this Ripper comes in, a little bit of annoyance. So yeah, that was back in 2016 they first played. Then 2018 Nation Wars, 2018 Montreal. It's been like 2 years or more since they played, or just less than 2 years, I guess. Coming up to 2 years. Damn. That is crazy. You know, those are the kind of things which I think are really cool when, you know, we cast a lot of games where it's like we see an Innovation and Zest play each other 1,000 times, right? And, you know, even players like Innovation and Reynor, they meet each other quite frequently because they play in a lot of these tournaments. But someone like Time, he doesn't, and that's, you know, we had earlier, Stats Namshaw. They've never really played each other very much officially. You know, and now Time Reynor haven't played each other much officially. So these are really cool matches that you don't see every day of the week. It's very, very fun as we see an SCV getting the depot down onto the natural here. Getting that up and running. There's a couple of Hellions setting up, the Viking coming through, and the Ling Speed is going to be finishing from Reynor in the main base. So a few Lings coming up, the drone coming in. That Baneland now setting up from Reynor on the natural expansion. Just going to be seeing our Overlord out in the center. A couple of Marines coming through, and the Overlord taking some extra damage. Obviously just looking for the scout, and he gets to see Stim Pack already started. Is that a commitment to Stim? It really is. I mean, it's obviously going to fit in with the build. What's important, though, is that this is actually only 4 Hellions into 2nd and 3rd rack. So this is not a 3rd CC. This is something which Maru used in the ESL season final play-ins against Dark. And I hadn't really seen it before then, but it seems to have really taken off. And a lot of people have started to do this now. There's 4 Hellion opener. You get 3 racks very quickly. And this is a 2-base all-in. And actually, it worked very well against Reynor when he played against Hero Marine the other day. Hero Marine actually used it on Pillars of Gold, got into a really good spot. That was the game where it actually looked like Hero Marine was just about to win, and suddenly Reynor ran across the map, caught Hero Marine's army, and had a great idea to just continue through to push down the natural. So, yeah, very exciting in that regard as we see this Viking coming in, able to push back an Overlord there and get a kill. I'm just going to patrol on the bottom side. So, yeah, the idea is this is just very aggressive, definitely kind of... Again, it's I say 2-base all in. Maybe 2-base heavy pressure is the better word for it, because you're going to kind of get to that position where, you know, you do have a transition out of this. You do have a longer game that can come from it. You can do good damage in transition, right? But you need to do damage. If you don't do anything with this, you're generally going to be in trouble. And it's been really good, especially against the players who have been rushing into Spires, because if you rush Spire from this sort of setup, or against this setup, you are really investing into 200 resources into a structure and then banking money when the first attack comes. And if you build mutas against this, I mean, mutas just don't do much. So it's really kind of... It's very much so kind of a meta build, I think, more than anything else. So yeah, definitely feels like a bit of a meta build more than what a lot of other things could be, as we do have the Hellions Marines moving down the right-hand side. We're going to see the Overseer setting up in the center as well, and this Viking just going to pick away at the Overlord. Vikings get here. Viking just doesn't quite go down. Again, here's our Marine tank army coming across. Reynor on 62 workers. Bunch of Lings. No Bane speed just yet, but that was his priority off the lair. Just pure Ling Bane. Is there enough as time wanders onto creep for the first time? And Reynor sets up to fight this. Once he's got a good queen count, he's got some Lings that are going to come in from the top side as well. They can get straight on top of a tank there, but there are some Hellions to fight that too. Are the Lings enough? Reaper Grenade bounces the Banelings back. That's awesome. Is it enough? The tanks are going down, but there's plenty of Marines left. So many queens here from Reynor. That's a lot of Marines, though, and I think the fourth base, or the third base, sorry, at the very least has to go down. You can relocate to the fourth. Oh my god, you got to protect these Overlords as well. Queens come in, trying to push this back. A couple transfusions. Lings will come in as well. Is this going to be a hold from Reynor as he commits through? A few Banes showing up. The tank fire is good to take the Banes down. I don't think it's enough to defend this base, though, right? I think the base still dies. One more transfusion. The Marines commit onto it. Okay, but Reynor makes them pay to get the kill there. There's good fire from the tank as well, killing off a queen. Lings continue through, getting the siege tank on the low ground. The rest of the Marines, the tank, setting up. There goes another of the queens already down. The Marines now going to find these Overlords, and that's an Overlord farm if you've ever seen one. Oh, it's painful. It's just going to find a supply block on Reynor in the next couple moments, and time's push is deadly. There's the third CC behind it, so like I mentioned, you need to do something with this attack, but the follow-up is very much so attainable, and that's where, you know, that's where time gets to here as these Banes come in from the side. He's going to catch everything, Reynor. If there's ever a time to get something done, it was right then, and, well, like I say, he's got that base up to the left. I mean, I was about to say the next biggest issue is upgrades. Because of all of these units he had to make and the inefficient trades, he's been very, very slow on adding on his own upgrades, so he's going to be very far behind in that way. And these Lings just are not enough to dive in on the Marine tank, so Reynor into a tough position. And this is a scenario where time should be feeling pretty comfortable, and I like it. Dropping onto the map, keeping active. Reynor definitely setting up some contingency plans. Ways to get back in the game. Some burrow. Get some burrowed Banelings off. That can obviously help to turn the tides. And he's definitely playing from behind, and he knows it. So even an infestation pit coming down, what I'd say is very quickly here. I do somewhat wonder what the plan is with that infestation pit. You know, what is your goal? Is it just a hive already? I mean, that feels very greedy. Is it to get a couple of infestors and maybe hope for some, you know, magical fungal growths alongside those burrowed Banes? Possibly. It's actually not a bad I don't think that's a bad possibility either, honestly. Given the circumstances, I'm not really usually a fan of going a couple of infestors early like this, but if you need to find your way back in the game, it could be a way to do it. I think Hive makes more sense. Maybe even if you just go Hive so you can get a couple Vipers out to deal with the siege tank production that continues in the game. That could be a, you know, just a different way of dealing with this. As the Queen shoots down the Liberator, so good defense on the natural. There's another Liberator sieging up the fourth base, which used to be the third. Oh, Bane drop, though, gets 12 workers. Well, yeah. Reynor was pulling out all the stops to find a way back into this. Bane drops are good. That's definitely a start. He's about to be even on upgrades as well. He's out of those burrowed Banes. I wonder if time actually saw that. He might not have done. Hard if you're not just paying attention in that moment. You might just think, hey, he's just, you know, I've just killed a couple of Banes that wandered forward. If you realize anything happened there at all. Can Reynor bring a few units up the left side? Time is splitting. That's obviously not really... He's not stacked on the Banes like he needs to be just yet for a decent connection. So Reynor will wait, and he will counterattack up the right side of the map at the same time. It's a big counterattack up the right is going to be seen. This hatchery on the left is just going to go down. Evo chambers were here, so he has to build new ones if he wants to too. Here we go. Ling's going to stream in. This is a lot of Lings, and at least equal on upgrades for the moment. A few Banes showing up to force the Marines to split back, and he's going to ransack that entire mineral line. So it's a lot of SCVs down. 20 workers killed. We'll try for a depot or two before he leaves. This army continues forward. The Banes never came into play. Does Reynor have a defense against us with 5 siege tanks? You kind of want to say probably not. He's going to roll in now before a lot of the tanks get sieged. I mean, that's definitely the way to do this. Couple of the Banes and Lings back from the top side as well. So Reynor gets a surround on the army. He's got Queens here picking off the medevacs, and I think he's going to do it. He's going to push this back, and time leaves with 5 Marines, 3 medevacs, and of course an economy that is being shut down back on the other side. Wow, my goodness. Reynor. I mean, this is what's so magical about Reynor. This is what's so fun to watch Reynor play. When he's behind, it's almost like he levels up a little bit because he hates losing so much, and he does anything and everything to get back into these games. Fantastic stuff as the Lings come through. They're going to chase down these couple of medevacs. Queens are here already to intercept. Yeah, and suddenly your medevac's already half HP, so you've already got to babysit it way more than you usually want to. Ling and Bane will run down to the bottom. Marines target firing some Banes. Good micro from Time as well. You know, it's not just Reynor who's playing well here, but Time is too. It's just he's being caught off guard. And we've talked about that Hive or Infestation Pit before. Now the Hive is in play. Ultras are coming out. So Ultras coming out. Adrenal Glands coming through. And obviously 2-2 upgrades as well for our Zerg player here. There's Empty Overlord. Oh, what a bait. Completely empty, nothing in it, forcing so much lost mining time as this drop gets handled at the same time. Yeah, I mean as well, Time will never know if that was empty or not, because he might just be like, oh yeah, I'm distracting Reynor. He loses a full medevac though. What's happening? Oh, it's the little things now, right? You know, you could argue that Time is still in a position to play out of, but losing 10 supply because you just didn't fly your medevac away in time, that's the sort of thing you can't afford in this kind of a scenario. Lings run in, a few units getting picked off once more, chasing up the right side now. As Marines stim into this, the Lings getting a good surround to pick away at a few of those Marines. Ultras continuing to build as well. Marines and tanks continue to set up. Just going to be seeing a few creep teamers going down. I mean, Reynor's all over the map, and he's got Ultras popping with Chitinous not far behind it. Again, a counterattack into this Banner line, and we've seen that be an issue a few times over, but plenty of Marines here, but heavily stimmed, so that's already damage done as well, right? You've got to keep in mind that that's a lot of, you know, damage that's already there. Okay, the medevacs are actually here, and they have plenty of energy, so they will heal up, but I mean, it's still medevac energy being drained. It's not as much of an issue. I thought he was on less medevacs, I will not lie. So, Bio Army comes around the right. Time looking for an opening. I mean, this Liberator sieged up on a base that doesn't exist. And there's still a couple of burrowed Banes here and there on the map, not really anywhere, you know, in one actually not really in the best of positions, I guess, but let's see as Reynolds going to run into this. Banes and Ultras already joined the fight. The Ultras from the top side, man, they look so slow off creep without anabolic synthesis as they come on through. I mean, Blinding Clouds came down as well, cleaned up the tanks, and this is just Ultras versus Marines, and that's Time's problem. He was never really set up to fight Ultras, right? He never started Marauders or anything like that. Eventually, he'll lift up here and back away again. These Ultras without the anabolic upgrade, you can actually kind of kite them for a long time. They are so derpy and slow, you kind of forget that they were that they're kind of so as bad as that. Again, if you get that upgraded, this would have been a different scenario. And Reynor not getting it yet. Another attack up here. And this time, Time has just brought everything down to the bottom of the map. Again, he's 3 bases and pretty much all in. His main is mined out, so that's a big issue too. These Ultras are just running into Marines, though. I mean, again, a lot of Lings across the map are going down. Masses of transfusions to keep this Ultra alive. The Queen count finally becoming very apparent there. I think Reynor's got to back away from this base, but he just killed the third. Oh my goodness. And now he's going to get into the natural. He could go up the high ground. That siege tank is killable. Reynor's not going to risk it. He doesn't know it's actually on an open area. He probably expected to be behind a wall off. As Reynor could honestly just do with a few more Banes, and realistically the Zerglings from across the map to join this fight as well. So it isn't just the Ultras. The Queens have transfusion energy once again. Marines are really in a corner and they can't really kite out of it. The creep spread helps these Ultras a lot too, and a lot of times armies going down, but Reynor's losing a decent chunk of stuff as well. The problem is Time has like 14 medevacs, and that's 28. Sorry, he's got 12 medevacs, 24 of his army supply, so a third of his army is medevacs at the moment. That is less than ideal, as there are Vipers here going to drop a parasitic bomb on the medevacs, I believe. The medevacs stacked up. He's going to lose 2 of them. Obviously taking away some of this healing energy. Can have an impact as Time going to try and drop into the main base, keep this active. Spore Crawler here. Marines will stack up with this as well. Reynor, he needs to finish that +3 carapace. That's an upgrade that's massive. I imagine he purposefully didn't start +3 melee for a pretty good reason. As the Marines do get the Evos, but again, Carapace finishes. That's the more important upgrade here. Some Banes connected. Viper's Parasitic Bomb once again. Meta Queen's here to try and help fight these Medivacs. He's getting a lot of Medivac kills. Obviously, the Queens are then exposed. The Lings will come running in, but so many Medivacs going down. This Marine army, I just don't think it stands up for much longer. Reynor's low HP base survives as well. That's a good defense. We're going to be seeing the Ultras continue to run up this ramp, and just going to be seeing the army pulling back a little bit then. So pulling away, a lot more Lings and other Ultras continue to come through. I think Reynor's got it. I think he's going to make this happen in the end. He's got a burrowed Baneling here as well, by the way. If you can find the center of these Marines, it won't kill them, but it will hurt them quite a bit. GG from Time. Reynor was across the map with Lings once again. And what a fantastic final game of the day as Reynor picks up a 2-0 and will stay undefeated in the first day of Group A of the Douyu Cup. GG.